MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence, MIT Art, Design and Technology University, Pune. India brings together the world's top tech women influencers leading the exponential technology domain and rising awareness on trending hot topics such as blockchain technology, data science, AI and ML, cybersecurity, cloud computing, metaverse, fintech, robotics, digital transformation and many more.
Join the second International Virtual Summit on Women Frontiers in Exponential Technology from 5th to 8th March 2022. Proudly organized by MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence India. Visit mitfutureskills.org.
A very good evening to one and all present here. This is Sristhi and I'll be the host for the session. On behalf of MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence, MIT Art, Design and Technology University, Pune, it's my pleasure to welcome all the esteemed guests and enthusiastic participants from all parts of the globe. This is the second International Virtual Summit on Women Frontiers in Exponential Technology, an initiative to listen to global stalwarts whose guidance will help us lead towards success in the dynamic digital world of today. At the outset, let me welcome our lovely keynote speaker, Ms. Sristhi Assudani, Director, Settlemint and Blockchain and Metaverse Evangelist. Thank you so much for joining us today, ma'am.
Thank you, Surichi. I'm really glad to be here. And especially on the occasion of Women's Day. So pleasure to be part of the panel and the discussion today.
It is an honor to have you. MIT Art, Design and Technology believes in starting every journey of knowledge by seeking blessings from Goddess Saraswati. May I please request you all to join your hands for Saraswati Vandana. Thank you very much. The MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence, under the guidance of MIT Art, Design and Technology University, Pune, is proud to bring on a platform where women who are world motivators in technology come together. The second International Virtual Summit on Women Frontiers in Exponential Technology is an attempt to salute women who influence and motivate and create awareness on the power of emerging technologies and career growth. And in the dynamic of technological advancements, change is unavoidable. The metaverse is another phenomena that has piqued the interest of everyone in the tech world. Many experts consider the metaverse to be the next iteration of internet. Maybe they make possible by virtual reality and augmentation reality technologies. With so many potential metaverse use cases, it is only a matter of time before the concept of metaverse becomes a reality. Let us know more about metaverse from Ms. Sristhi, Director, Settlemint and Blockchain and Metaverse Evangelist. But before we give the session over to her, may I please request the AV?
Ms. Sristhi Assudani works as a Director of Settlemint and is focused on problem solving and enterprise-grade implementation of technology. She is a part of Hyperledger India chapter and is President of GBA Delhi. Ms. Sristhi is a dynamic professional and entrepreneur with 15 plus years of experience in leadership and sales, business development, and key account management roles. She's enthusiastic about technology and how it transforms us. She is extremely fascinated by blockchain technology. She truly believes that through digitalization and increased interconnectivity, the world will become a brighter place and is delighted to be able to do her part in pushing it forward. She is guided by two very simple drives: passion and creating value. It is our pleasure to have Ms. Sristhi Assudani join with us in the second International Virtual Summit on Women Frontiers in Exponential Technology.
Thank you very much. The session will be all yours now, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Suruchi, and thank you especially for the audiovisual. It's extremely pleasing. So let's carry on with the session on Metaverse. I would request the team to share the slides. Right. So Metaverse. Could we get the slides, please? Right. So first, before we get started with the Metaverse and what are the potential use cases, of course, we do understand that it's a big buzzword right now, not only for the end consumers, but also for the different businesses. So what I'd like to start with is definitely how the internet has evolved and what's been the history of the internet. Could you move to the next slide, please? So we've seen that there has been immense growth in the internet and how it's progressed from Web 1.0 to Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. So if we see in the late 1980s and early 1990s, the web was basically more static, based out of a terminal, where information was merely being kind of retrieved and gradually, of course, we moved into graphical interfaces using technologies like HTML. So that was the first part of the internet, and there has been movement into Web 2.0, where it's more of the interactive, the social experience, social media experiences, dynamic content, and of course, more better user experience. And the interaction has increased. And now recently there has been the movement of Web 3.0, which is, of course, being predominated with blockchain technology. The focus, of course, is more on the user and control being given to the user, where we talk about autonomous organizations, DAOs coming into place, which is decentralized autonomous organization, and blockchain is specifically has revolutionized the way the distribution computing has come to place. So Metaverse is again a part of the Web 3.0 revolution. So I just wanted to drop a little about how the internet has evolved and how Metaverse is coming into place. Could we move into the next slide? So when we talk about Metaverse and what it is, it's in a very simple terms, we can say that Metaverse is more of an enhanced internet. It's an extension of the cyberspace where it's being made more immersive. And we can interact in the virtual world, and of course there is transactions can be taken place. So that would be a simple definition of Metaverse. But essentially the term is not new, and it was coined by the author Neil Stephenson in 1992 in his novel Snow Crash, where he has envisioned the possibilities of science with Metaverse, basically where people are wearing headsets and they experience virtual environments through their avatars, which is the digital representation of their identity in the virtual world. So that's been there. And then, of course, in the gaming world, Metaverse is not something which is completely new. And Second Life has been running like a Metaverse online world for a couple of decades now. And then this is one question which we get a lot, that, why in such a sudden, in the last year or so, there's been so much hype about Metaverse. So of course, the recent rebranding of Facebook to Meta has definitely put a lot of reinvigoration to the term. And that has also been has been put in place with multiple brands putting their place in the Metaverse world. So, of course, we are aware that last year Nike as a company has invested in a virtual sneaker company, and they plan to sell sneakers virtually in the Metaverse world. That's one. And of course, Disney has also filed for patents where their theme parks could be experienced virtually in the Metaverse world. So, could we move to the next slide? So let's get into kind of unleashing what is this. We do understand that it's enhanced internet, but what is Metaverse, and what is it made of? What are the So that's what virtual reality is. So Facebook moved into virtual reality using Oculus, Samsung using Gear, and Google with Google Cardboard. So these are some of the VR devices. Of course, Google Cardboard is not functional as of now, but so just to explain what virtual reality is. Moving on to augmented reality. Now, augmented reality is of course less immersive than virtual reality, and I would say it's a combination of the real and the virtual world, using additive overlay sensory. And the purpose basically is to enhance or alter the real world rather than replace it, which is like kind of what we do in the virtual world. So it's a little different than virtual reality. And you can use a device like a phone to overlay the digital elements in the real world. And of course, that might be limited to the size of your phone. So you can use AR glasses for this. So that's what augmented reality is. And then, of course, we've heard terms like mixed reality. What mixed reality is actually, it's also referred to as hybrid realities at times, and it produces new environments where the physical and the digital objects coexist and they interact in real time. So it's a mix of actual reality and virtual reality. So Microsoft has moved into the MR battle with the launch of Windows Mixed Reality. And one of the first fully immersive mixed reality system was the Virtual Fixtures platform. It was developed by US Air Force. So with the use of mixed reality, it makes the users feel that the virtual world is immersed in the real world rather than you feeling immersed in the virtual world, which is what happens in VR. So this will just give you an idea of the different the technologies that come into place in Metaverse. Could we move to the next slide? Right. So we've talked about blockchain. We've talked about how it's moved with Bitcoin being there, starting the blockchain in 2008. And then there is, of course, Ethereum. And now there are layer 2 solutions coming. And of course, blockchain is moving to a very, very mature stage with respect to application in the enterprise space, also in the public, using public mainnets. But what are some of the features which makes it so capable, so that we understand more why the blockchain technology? Of course, we've covered a part of it with respect to smart contracts and that being programmable code, which enables the triggering of the transaction. So that's one. But essentially, it's a shared ledger. It's the data layer in the architecture of your application, which would enable a single source of truth and transparent sharing of data. So that would be one. And another feature which makes it much more useful in the applications of enterprises is, of course, it's essentially tamper-proof. So the data which is recorded in the blockchain cannot be altered. So it's immutable, it's tamper-proof. And that's why it maintains a secure audit trail of the transactions, which and it's independent of any intermediaries. So that makes it much more useful when we are having multiple participants. And since the transaction trail can be maintained and viewed by everyone in a transparent manner, you can have the provenance are done, and the ownership of any asset can be validated if we talk in the metaverse space. And again, there are different consensus algorithms. We might have heard of proof of work, proof of authority, and now Ethereum is moving to proof of stake. So these are different algorithms which are used for validation of the transactions in the blockchain ecosystem. So these are, can we move to the next slide, Suruchi? These are some of the reasons and the inherent capabilities of the blockchain as a technology tool, which makes it much more useful to be utilized in the metaverse ecosystem. So this is one question which I get quite often, that why blockchain in the metaverse? So of course, since we explained the capabilities of the technology, first reason would definitely be that you can have the digital items represented as NFTs in the blockchain ecosystem, and that can have an associated value. They can be traded in the open market, in the NFT marketplace. There's a lot of work being done into interoperability. So eventually it would happen that you could trade your assets in the different ecosystems also. So what you possess on one could be tradable in the other one. So for example, Sandbox or Decentraland, currently they are maintaining on silos, but eventually we would want that the entire ecosystem would be on one layer. So that's one. And then of course, it ensures true ownership, and the assets are secured because one of the inherent capabilities of the blockchain technology as such. Let's move on, Suruchi, to the next slide. This is more of I'd like to kind of share with the audience how the blockchain. Just give me a moment. Can you share see my screen, Suruchi?
Not yet, ma'am, but it shows that you've started screen sharing.
Can you see now?
No, I think it's loading.
Okay. And just let me know when you do.
Of course. Now we can.
So this is just a demo application to show how, how the records are maintained in a blockchain technology. So not going into much details because it will become more technical, but just an intuitive vision of how the records and transactions are maintained in a block. So essentially a blockchain is a technology where the records are, the transactions and records are maintained in a block, and each block is linked to the previous block through a cryptographic hash. And that's the reference between all the blocks, which kind of makes it immutable and makes the secure and ensures for the security aspect of it. So if you'll see that each of the block is kind of linked to the previous hash, and this is actually like different blockchains use different hashes. So there is SHA-256 and there are various others which are used, and the blocks are validated. The transactions are validated using, so if there are miners, if it's in a public space, otherwise with respect to consensus algorithms, the validation of the transaction is done. So this is the blockchain part of it. I'll also like you to see This is actually the Ethereum Explorer, and all the transactions which are happening here can be visible, and you can see also the contracts which are there. In fact, we can also see the details of the attributes of the contract. So you can see that the latest transactions which has happened, this is the transaction hash which is there, and these are the details of the block. So if we go inside, we can have all the details of the block available. What is the block height, which is the block number, how many transactions are present. So there are 11 transactions, and there are 5 contract internal transactions, all the difficulty level, and the gas used, which is there. All the information is available in a very transparent way in the Explorer. So if you use Ethereum, you can have the information about the smart contract, and you can see all the details of that over the internet. So if you see over here, this is the symbol of a smart contract, right? So if we click here, we can see the date, the timestamp, the participants involved, the value of it. All the information is available openly. And of course, what are the type of transaction, whether it is ERC20, ERC721, all that information is available. So that's one, what I'd like to share. And second, before we kind of understand the use cases, I think we've all heard about Sandbox, the game. And when I started, we kind of discussed the evolution of the internet. So now when we are trying to enter Sandbox, it's giving us 3 options. So these applications are kind of catering not only to the mainstream users, but also to the crypto native users. So you can either log in through an email or a social login or the Web3. So you can go through a MetaMask, which is one of the wallet providers. And of course, okay. Is my screen visible, Suruchi?
We can still see the previous screen.
Okay, just give me a moment. Yes, can you see the Sandbox screen now?
No, it's loading. It says that you've started screen sharing, and that's about it.
Okay, let me start again then.
Mm-hmm.
Now can you see?
It still shows that you've started screen sharing. It's a dark screen.
I actually wanted to show the login through MetaMask to the viewers so that they can understand. Can you see now?
No.
Okay, let's move to the next screen. Let's move to the next slide.
Okay. We can, yeah. You could see your screen, the previous browser.
Okay, let's complete the deck and then I'll come here again. Right. So on a very high level, of course, it's a very complex technology, and like we say that it requires a master of a couple of technologies. So you would definitely need, if there are some of the participants who are entrepreneurs and trying to build a metaverse game or a metaverse banking system or anything, you'll definitely need someone who could work on the blockchain or stack of it, and then definitely who would be an expert of the virtual environments, who could work on the content side of it, on the modeling stack, and one from the product standpoint. So it would be actually an amalgamation of multiple experts of technology. So that's more from the designing of the metaverse. But let's understand where are the different use cases nowadays, and where is the technology being leveraged currently. So of course, I think the one which is predominant and known by all is that gaming metaverse is being used. So gaming has been, like I mentioned in my earlier slide, that gaming has been using metaverse like environments for a very long time, but I think with blockchain coming into space now, gaming is also being able to use models like play to earn, where your objects can be traded in the open market as collectibles, and you can also do staking, and there is multiple combinations of even DeFi platforms which are coming, where there is monetization of your assets or your investment, which is called staking of the different tokens which are available for your game in which you are kind of playing. So that's definitely one part of it. But if we'll also see with respect to metaverse, there is also use in the medical space, where it's being used to simulate experiences of an operation, and this is more from a standpoint of objecting kind of having no defects or bugs. So a virtual simulated environment where the operation can be performed. Of course, that's one part, but the metaverse is also, of course, kind of the NFT and the metaverse in the digital art space. While there was a lot of gatekeeping with the metaverse being able to transact the NFTs, this is something which has really opened up for the for all the artists, and then they have more security, and it's a big opportunity for them. So there's a lot of playground for the artist which is coming up. Similarly, I think even in the military training, metaverse is being used, where again these simulated virtual environments are being used, and that's another area. And of course, metaverse is also being used in businesses while virtual meetings are being conducted, and the experience is more immersive using metaverse. And again, another thing which is there's a lot of movement. So we have a lot of companies moving into metaverse, when a lot of banks moving into metaverse. So recently, I think JP Morgan has invested in metaverse, and it's more of like an experience. So you move into a bank in the metaverse environment, and you say with your autonomous identity, you want a loan. The loan can be issued using a DeFi platform, and it can all be done in the digital space. So that's more of an idea of how banking is going to use metaverse in the future space. And of course, there's a lot of discussions and a lot of movement in this space, where a lot of innovative and forward-thinking models are being worked on. And there's a lot of effort also to put a structure to it. So this is more of a very evolving space. So that's in the banking space. And again, e-commerce is another area where this is being happening. So of course, when we talk about metaverse, we are also having virtual lands, where the likes of Sandbox and Decentraland. So big brands are now possessing their own lands, and they're creating virtual worlds over there, where it might comprise of a concert where music shows can be done, and then the tickets can be done through NFT. So that's again a security part of it, where the and then the monetization even for the creator with respect to the royalties. So that's there. And the worlds are also having, apart from these musics, there are also avatars who are possessing virtual merchandise, and that is being not only being procured in the digital space, but also traded. So that's one. And then of course digital events are happening. So these are some of the use cases where Metaverse is moving to. And apart from that, there is also virtual shopping where you can try your avatars can try the accessories or the clothings in a 360-degree realm space, and I mean it's completely a different world. So what they say nowadays is it's more of a phygital movement. I think we've all heard of the word digital. It's a movement towards phygital, where you possess the physical object also, and you have the digital entity also available. Right. So I'd like to take up any questions, and then.
Right. That's such an amazing session, ma'am. The plethora of information that you have given on Metaverse, which is the buzzword today, is something definitely people are looking for. And we had received quite a lot of questions beforehand itself at the time of registration. So I will be asking a few from there. We don't know that, for Generation Z and the Generation Alpha are already very, very well versed and very well aware of Metaverse and what is going to be and what is it and how, whether it is because of Roblox, whether it is of Sandbox, they're still aware of it. So do you think that millennials or the Generation X before that, or the earlier generation, do you think it will take time for them to understand this technology, or how do you think they should go about it?
What I feel, Smriti, I think the generation coming up, I think they'll be able to pick it up very, very soon. What I'd like to share with an example is that there's a movement of even in the virtual learning. So there's a company called Metaversity, which is actually sharing virtual experiences and the learning in a virtual environment. So of course, with the COVID happening, we've all moved towards digital learning through Zoom, but we've adopted to it very well. But that's a new movement, and Metaversity is the name. I'll try to drop the link over here for the viewers so that they can have a look at that. So I think with the all the coming generation and the new generation, I think it will be a completely new world for them, where they would be seeing things which we would not have experienced. I mean, our first part is of definitely learning, but there's also like a new thing which was kind of very fascinating for me, being a lady, which I'd like to share, is the possession of jewelry in the metaverse world. This is virtual jewelry being possessed. And it's more of the movement of phygital, which I talked about. So yeah, that's my thoughts, Smriti.
I'm sure jewelry is something which has perked everyone's ears right now. All the women out there, they're looking for that as well, and now they're going to check out how they go about it. Yes. So what is that part, or what is that factor which fascinates you the most in Metaverse?
I think the way we are able to create these environments where we can interact with everybody irrespective of boundaries. And that's something which really fascinated me even in the Web 2.0. Before we were not able to talk to our relatives or our friends in US. Now we don't feel the difference because it's being done through video calls, and there would be the movement now where we would be attending say a music concert together, where I would be present in my avatar and my cousin in US would also be present, and we would be kind of experiencing the same using virtual reality. Of course, there's also sensory movements which can be felt. You can walk around in the virtual space. So we are eliminating all barriers of geography and experiencing. It's completely, I think, innovative. Removing all boundaries, technology has really helped that, I think.
That's really exciting, I must say. Yes, I totally agree when you say you're able to meet up with your family online or in that world, that is something definitely fascinating, something we can't still think of, and still can't get hang of. Absolutely amazing technology, ma'am. Would you like to share how was your journey with Metaverse when it started?
My journey with Metaverse, I think, has been limited to one of the gaming space only with Sandbox, where I'm, having an asset and trying to kind of build on that. Very new to on that. I think being more of a solution provider, more focused on the technology part of it, of the designing aspect, and trying to create new solutions for the client. But yes, I think that would be it, Smriti, from that side.
Ma'am, Metaverse is the next big thing. How do you suggest career aspirants should prepare now itself for them to be in this field? Because this definitely is not just the big thing, but the now big thing.
Yes, definitely. So I think to be a part of Metaverse, of course, there would be like, three kind of people a part of Metaverse. Of course, one would be the developers part of it. So if you want to be one of the developers and you want to be part of the Metaverse ecosystem, that can be one. You can also be a part of the content creation team where you're creating the content for Metaverse ecosystems using the different technologies. So you have Unreal Engine, you have Unity 3D, then of course you have the modeling done through Blender and Maya. So that can be one part. And of course, there is the retail part of it, the people who are consuming the metaverse, where you're kind of experiencing it. So I think these would be the three areas where you can get involved in the metaverse ecosystem.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm sure that is going to be very, very useful piece of advice for career aspirants who are still trying to get the hang of Metaverse. With all technologies, we do know that every coin has two sides. Do you have a word of caution for these people who will adopt to Metaverse?
Yes, I think, and that's what I'd like to put here, Smriti, more from the angle of there's also fear that while it's kind of really fascinating that we are able to experience the virtual world, but there's also the fear of losing, the real time, the real self, getting so involved in the virtual environment. That's of course one, and also from the health point of view, with respect to your eyes, like it said that there's also a 20-20-20 rule for the health while you are in the metaverse space. So you spend 20 minutes of your time in the metaverse space, and then you spend 20 more minutes while you try to see an object at a long distance, and then again take some gap and then move back into metaverse. So these are all suggestions which are given by experts, so that it does not affect your health in any space, in any kind, in any form of way.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for explaining everything in Metaverse so well. Today, being International Women's Day, what piece of advice would you like to give to all the women out there who find people like you who are influencing the world of technology? What piece of advice would you like to give such women?
I think at Women's Day today, I would like to say this to everyone, that you're all very beautiful. You're all good souls. So the one thing you should do every day is love yourself, believe in yourself, and take care of yourself. These are three things which women needs to, or in fact everybody, but I think I would say that because I think women get involved in too many facets along with their professional life. So these three things you should always do. Take really good care of yourself, and believe in yourself, and you'll be able to conquer the world.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. That's a very wise piece of advice. And thank you so much for taking out your valuable time and sharing something which is so trending at the moment, but it is really difficult to get something important to understand on this technology. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. Just be with us. We will just be thanking a few of our absolute esteemed guests who have been with us from the past 4 days. We have had a plethora of information. So there have been discussions on so many topics. In fact, just the topic before this had us see an absolutely amazing demo from the Microsoft company. We had people who showed us a demo on augmented reality. So after that, ending it with Metaverse, I think there can be nothing better than how we have celebrated Women's Day today. I would really, like to thank and remember the sessions taken by Dr. Elizabeth Shue, where she spoke about building and beautifying the digital twin. We've had an amazing session by Women Leadership in Emerging Technology by Ms. Divya Ashok. We've had Accelerating, a Career in FinTech by Tramon Nguyen. We've had a talk on robotics for her by Ms. Payal Rajpal. We've spoken about the state of adoption for enterprise blockchain by Sophia Lopez. We've had a session on automated machine learning BI space by Laila Ichati, and an absolutely amazing session on leveraging digital transformation tech by Tanushree Bhattacharya ma'am. We've also had Alice Beverly Cole ma'am, who shared her amazing experience with us. And she did point out that while you are embracing technology, make sure that the technology also embraces you. We've had another insightful session with Ms. Shemin Tan, who spoke about being a modern day cyber leader. She shared her experiences and the experiences that she had interviewed of people who are in that particular field. We've had sessions by Ms. Natalie Evie on EQ, emotional question and intelligence. We've had a session by Ms. Vandana Verma, who spoke about cloud security. We had Dr. Martha, who spoke about how do we win the digital consumers. And then we've had a wonderful session on reimagining the data governance with AI and ML by Peggy Sai. Today, since morning, we've had a plethora of information on BI by Ms. Helen Wall, and we've had about AI ethics and you by Ms. Rupa Singh. We've had a session on modernizing the technology, leave your legacy behind. It's time to modernize by Ms. Neha Dhyani, and past, present, and future of application security by Selaja Vadlamudi ma'am. And then before you, it was Irina Ghosh ma'am, who talked about the transformative trends of the tech aid. And what an amazing ending of the sessions on tech aid by Metaverse by you. So thank you so much, ma'am. And I thank all these beautiful ladies. And I wish all of you a happy International Women's Day once again. Over to you, Suruchi.
Thank you very much. And a bigger thank you to our keynote speaker for the evening. Your points and your insights upon foundations of Metaverse, understanding extended reality, smart contracts, key characteristics of blockchain in tech, especially the demo that you gave us about how, you put out the records and the transactions that are maintained within the blockchain is going to be the abundance of information, just like my professor here said, that you've shared with us and is going to be very highly cherished. So thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us on it. And before we sign off, I'd take a few moments to propose the vote of thanks. Events like these are possible only due to the constant support and encouragement from Honorable Professor Dr. Mangesh Karatsa, Executive President and Vice Chancellor, MIT ADT University. His blessings make such events successful. A big thank you to our mentors, Dr. Anand Chakradev Sir, Pro Vice Chancellor, and Dr. Mahesh Chopre Sir, Registrar, MIT ADT University, for their constant cooperation and motivation with such events. I extend my sincere appreciation to all the deans, directors, HOIs, and HODs at MIT ADT University. Your support encourages us to progress and flourish. I'm indebted to our ecosystem partners who supported and guided us throughout the International Summit. A huge thank you to our knowledge partners, University at Buffalo, Blockchain Think Lab, California Science and Technology University, Center for Finance, Technology, and Entrepreneurship, and Natalie EV Consulting. To our technology partners, Asset Rush, Kaleido, Big ID, K-Monk, Innovise, Steezy, Settlemint, Securo, Robotex India, and Radicat. To our education partners, Microsoft, Salesforce, Atos, SAP, Edupia, AI Beehive, CloudTat, and Skills Factory. To our community partners, OVASP Foundation, Women in Cybersecurity and Privacy, InfoSec Girls, India Blockchain Forum, Global Blockchain Business Council, Women in Blockchain Talks, and MKAI. Our inspiration is our innovation partners, AIC Incubator Forum, Cerebrospark Innovations LLP. Thank you to our certification partner, True Scholar, and a bigger thank you to our digital marketing partner, Brand Niti Integrated Strategic Advertising and Media Agency. Finally, I'd like to thank the audience from the bottom of my heart who took out their precious time and joined us today. I request you to kindly share your valuable feedback. The link will be shared in the chat box shortly, and you will also be able to see it on the screen. A big thank you for being with us for the second International Virtual Summit on Women Frontiers in Exponential Technology. On behalf of MIT Center for Future Skills Excellence, MIT ADT University, once again, a very happy International Women's Day. And we'll be back very, very soon with another summit for information with stalwarts in technology. Till then, please keep learning, stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sristhi ma'am. Looking forward to having you again.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And thank you, Suruchi, our lovely host here.
Thank you, Suruchi. And thank you, Smriti.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great evening.
Yeah.